the referendum, Mr. Speaker, sir. Without a referendum, there is no formal mechanism to ensure that amendments respect the collective voice of all Fijians, including those with limited or no direct representation in government. I know that there will be parliamentary committees according to government, but we all know the submissions, the public submissions that are made when committees go up. Very low turnout, Mr. Speaker, sir. But with the referendum, everybody, every Fijian participates. We've always talked about leaving no one behind. This is a government that listens. We are saying that it's difficult to amend, Mr. Speaker, sir, but give it a try. Let's hear the people, Mr. Speaker, sir. Can be done. Possible, Mr. Speaker, sir. That is why the referendum is very democratic, Mr. Speaker, sir. Very democratic. Because we are here as representatives of the people, but we need to listen to the people as well, Mr. Speaker, sir. And that is why that referendum is there in the initial stage, Mr. Speaker, sir. Said, you'll take over from me, Mr. Koya, and the rest of the team. On the issue about the majority, I just wish to say that, Mr. Speaker, sir, that it has been there in all our constitutions. In all our constitutions. From 1970, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me read out the 1970 Constitution, Mr. Speaker, sir. Section 67 and Section 68 outline special majorities for amendment of the Constitution. They are 3/4 and 2/3 for various amendments. In one case, the majority needed is 6 out of 8 members of the Senate appointed by. So it's always there, Mr. Speaker, sir. The 75%, particularly for the nomination of the Great Council of Chiefs, that was always there, Mr. Speaker, sir. In the 1990 Constitution, Mr. Speaker, sir, Section 77 and Section 78. I will not go into the details because of time factor, Mr. Speaker, sir. In the 1997 Constitution, Chapter 15, Mr. Speaker, sir, talks about the amendment in the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, sir. And for urgent amendments, I didn't hear the Attorney General say this, there is a requirement to have 53 members of the House out of 71 members. So in addition, for certain types of legislation, the majority required is also 15 out of 23 because we have the upper house, but in the lower house, 53. 53, Mr. Speaker, sir, is the 75%. So it's not difficult to amend this Constitution according to the provisions that are laid down here, Mr. Speaker, sir. So is there a need for a constitutional review? Yes, there is a need for constitutional review. We differ on the how, Mr. Speaker, sir. We differ on the how. And that is why, and this is one of the reasons too, I wholly supported the 75% because it encourages dialogue. With 2/3, you can go without the opposition. But with 75, the threshold is high. It encourages that spirit of dialogue, which is important for Fiji in the way forward, Mr. Speaker, sir. You think that you have the numbers? Well, go ahead with it. But sustainable democracy, you've talked about inclusivity, you've talked about hearing the voices of the people, adherence to the rule of law. Those are all tenets of good governance, Mr. Speaker, sir. And we need to maintain that, Mr. Speaker, sir. So definitely there is a need for review, but we also recognize the certain provisions, as alluded to, Chapter 10 particularly, and 12D. That has been protected under the Constitution. But the question, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I'll end with this, who wants what provisions to be amended and why? This is one of the big questions that we have. Because we talk about amendment. And as I said last week, there are people who feel safe in the provisions of this Constitution. There are people who are protected in the provisions of this Constitution. There are people who benefit in the provisions of this Constitution. But the amendment, what are the amendments that government is going to bring is the big question, Mr. Speaker, sir. I thank you for this opportunity.